together is a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So I just, well, it's a privilege, like, to be here. It's what an amazing day. It's a gift. So I just want to, let's warm up together and talk a little bit about, like, I'll share a little bit the way I warm up in the morning. And what I want to do is just to make sure that I control everything from the lower body. So the way I do it, for example, here I'm balanced on the left leg, and I want to control the release by a smooth unload of that left leg over here to change direction. Very gentle. Okay, so for example, shell over here, you can just hold my control here. So, like I finished the arc, I got the balance on my left leg, the load is on my left leg. A lot of people I see, they have a tendency to release that load too quick, which result in an up motion and a tipping at the start of the next turn. So what you want that release to be a little bit smoother, and you don't need to release all the load before you get to neutral. You can use a little bit more length. You can release the load on that left leg for the whole turn. You don't need to release this before you start turning. So stretch that release, and what we're going to do here, we're going to stretch it, and we're going to combine it with a release of the left leg, and I start to point the opposite leg at the same time. I do two movements at the same time. So it's a gentle release of the load of my previous outside ski, and then I'm just gently combining this with a direction of the opposite one. So let's put some direction into the drill here. Doctrine, you know, say doctrine in English, like the lower body leads the turning effort. So in other words, if I start over here and I have my weight 50-50, both of my legs are supporting my body, what I want is I want to control the speed at which the skis are tilting on the side with an unweighting of the inside foot or a shortening of the inside leg. It's critical, like we're going to start increasing the speed over here, it's critical that you do not create tension in the articulation when you roll the ski on the side. It happens as a result of a shortening of the inside leg, and as I do this, if I do it progressively, the load is going to build up progressive on the outside ski, and I'll be able to direct that load effectively. If the load shows up too quick, it's hard to be directional in the load. So basically the shortening of that inside leg controls my lateral motion. Very often we have skiers who are kind of pulling the lower body with the upper body, but by putting your energy on controlling your lateral motion with the way you manage the pressure on each foot, makes it impossible to tip in. Okay? So let's put it in a turn with a little bit more speed here, but always feel like my body is supported by two legs at the same length at the start of the turn, and gently get the inside leg shorter to create a little bit of edge, but you do not force that action. If you force that, you become in articular blockage, and then you cannot direct the push. Okay, so very smooth approach, loose approach. We take the chair back up. For example, if my body is supported by two legs over here, when I'm going to soften a little bit the inside one, for sure the load, my body's going to get supported more and more by one leg. It's important, we're not talking about the fettling effect or a pressing effect on the outside knee. You want to have the load presenting itself gently on the outside, but it has to be a directional load. You don't want to stand on it and block on it. As the load comes on my left foot, I direct that load instead of pressing it. So we'll see a little bit how we direct it later on. But for now, let's try to get used to the feel here. Let's go. Both of my legs at the same length, and I'm gonna get the left leg shorter so the skis are gonna tilt on the side. But I got two choices here. Either I am in suspension and trying to allow the ski to roll on the side and come back, or I'm in compression. I short the left leg and then block. If you compress, you limit your options. And especially in this snow, you're gonna sink.
Yeah.
So just make sure that, you wanna get the inside leg shorter, but you wanna activate the steering on the opposite leg. Okay, you don't wanna block and compress on it. That's very important. So just for this part over here, it's a little bit more easier terrain. I would like to talk about how to activate that steering. So there's a couple of key points in order to make the steering efficient. One of those points, it's the activation of the glutes. The glutes, the back of the leg here, is responsible for the alignment of the leg. So what I want to have that glute activated, I need to keep a certain tension on the outside leg. I don't want to be too much shortening that outside leg, or else I block. So if you keep the length of your outside leg, you're gonna have better steering power. The glute being activated, it's easier to drive the ski. If I do get the leg shorter, you're done. You compress, articular blockage, it's over. So as I get the inside leg a bit shorter, keep the length on that outside one, so it's easier for you to drive the ski. Got it? Play with it.